Justin Trudeau, a year in review. What exactly has our Prime Minister been up to since January of 2018? Here are a few of the highlights. There was the Kokanee Grope incident, for which JT has never apologized and likely never will. Then there was the summer program where you had to attest to be beholden to liberal values, or you were not eligible for the grant, which really excluded Christian groups. The disastrous trip to India, of course, which Trudeau had a great time at, but the rest of us stood in deep shame and embarrassment over his antics. Oh yeah, and there's the $10.5 million payout to Omar Khadr, plus at least $10 million to 3 other convicted terrorists, and those are only the ones that we know of. Oh yeah, and how about the $50 million that got thrown on a whim to a B-rate U.S. comedian whom nobody has ever heard of, who has a charity that donates to charities, that donates to other charities for women's issues. But let's not forget, the veterans are asking for more than we can afford to give. Oh yeah, now there was also a visit to Parliament of convicted sex offender Joshua Boyle. That's never been explained and probably never will be. Trudeau was also snubbed during his visit to China. I guess the Chinese don't like to be lectured on feminism and climate change. And then there's conflating those two issues all the time, especially when it comes to things that have nothing to do with gender analysis or climate, such as NAFTA, which managed to royally piss off Donald Trump, one of our greatest allies and trade partners. Oh, and how about the tweets? Well, there's that most expensive tweet in the history of Canada that Trudeau sent out shortly after he was elected, welcoming everyone and all asunder to Canada because diversity is our strength. We're still paying for that one. And Trudeau is nowhere to be found. And Chrystia Freeland, of course, she's very good at scolding. So she managed to tick off Saudi Arabia, who shut down their embassy, pulled all their students out, and have continued to give us the cold shoulder ever since. Last but not least, the carbon tax. Oh, or should I say price on pollution? Yes, Trudeau seems to believe that somehow is going to reduce our carbon footprint, when in reality it's just going to fill up his government coffers, and everyone knows it, but they continue to dig in their heels, and that's perhaps the only thing that we can hope will sink the man come 2019, because at the moment there are 5 provinces that will object to it, and I wouldn't be surprised if a couple more, if not all of them, jump on that bandwagon because they want to do what's right for their people. After all, those are the people that are going to vote for them in the future elections. And finally, Trudeau's insult to all men, young and old. If you are a construction worker, you work on an oil rig, or you drive a big truck, you are a threat to communities, and we need that gender analysis because, frankly, you can't be trusted. Who knows what havoc you might wreak on unsuspecting communities. Yes, he's managed to insult and embarrass us quite a bit over these last 12 months, and there's still time for him to screw up. Don't hold your breath, though, folks. The shiny pony may well get the chance to serve a second term. This is what we can look forward to should he be reelected with a majority government. Wealth redistribution, so hang on to your wallets, because that money that you worked so hard to earn will be divvied up to provide handouts to terrorists, comedians, and others that Trudeau seems to think are worthy of Canadian taxpayers' funds. Also, we will have more regulations, which will make us less competitive with our neighbors to the south, who are reducing taxes, reducing regulations, and attracting businesses. And if he digs his heels in on that carbon pollution, we will likely have to look forward to additional expenses in the tax hierarchy. We, after all, some of us pay over 50 cents on every dollar that we earn to the government, and yet that's not enough. So we have that to look forward to, along with the powerful voices of returning jihadis that Trudeau has promised us on the horizon. Hang on to your make Trudeau a drama teacher again? Hats, folks. 2019 promising to be a very interesting year.